So here, this is exactly what we've been doing in the past, last class, and then just now. Um, but we now so nicely have the table for us to keep our thoughts organized. So, the first thing that we do is we find A, B, H, and K. What is our A value this time? 3, which we also know that the A value affects what? What is A value also? The A value is also starts with an A. Amplitude. Good, good, good. So our amplitude is also 3 here in this case. What is our B value? 1/2, yes. Which we know B affects what? The period. And we know that we can find period by doing 360 divided by B. So we have 360 divided by 1/2, which I'm glad that we have this problem because I think some people have forgotten how to do this. I'm going to do it at the bottom here. 360 divided by 1/2. Whenever we're trying to get a fraction out of the denominator, you can always multiply the numerator by the reciprocal. So 360 times 2/1. And we just multiply the numerators there, the whole number times the numerator. So 360 times 2 is 720. That is our period length. In Math Excel, you would have instead found the period in radians, which is 2 pi over b. So that is again 2 pi over 1/2, or 2 pi times 2/1, which is just 4 pi. This is what you would have done in Math Excel. Because on Math Excel, they just want the A, B, H, and K. But instead of writing the B value in that table, you would write the period. So this is one of the 4 things you need to put into Math Excel. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, what is our H value? Zero. Good. We don't have a number after the X, right after the X, inside the parentheses. So that means our H is 0. Versus, what is our K? What's our K value? +1, yes. The K is always the number at the very, very end outside of the parentheses. I don't know why I put a plus there. It's just 1. And then lastly, before we start graphing, we need to deal with all of our lovely tick marks. So the tick mark width is the same as our increments, what we were asking before by saying what are the increments. We find the tick mark width, how? Yes, by taking the period and dividing by 4. So we have 720 divided by 4, which is, just to hurry things along, 180. Then, how do we figure out where we're starting? Yes, your H value. So if our H value is 0, it means that our starting tick mark is also 0. To get the other tick marks, you take the previous tick mark and you add the width to it. So 0 plus 180 is 180. 180 plus the tick mark width 180 is 360. 360 plus the tick mark width is 540, and 540 plus the tick mark width is 720. And also remember, I told you guys last class that the distance between your first and last tick mark, which in this case, the distance between 0 and 720 is 720, this distance should be the same as your period, right? These two values should be the same if you did it right, which it is, so you're good to go. Okay, so from here, it's super straightforward. I personally like to deal with the easy one first, which is just writing down my X tick marks, my X values. I start at 0. Then my next tick mark is 180. Then 360, 540, and 720. How do I get the Y location of my center dotted line? Yes, you look at your K value because that's how much it moves up or down. So my K value is 1, meaning my center dotted line is also at 1 as my Y value. And then what do we use to get the top Y location for the dotted line, the top dotted line? Yes, you need to add the amplitude, which in this case is 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. To get the bottom dotted line, you instead subtract the amplitude. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Then, was this a secant graph? I don't feel like scrolling over. I think it was. So secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So I'm trying to graph cosine first here, knowing that cosine has the pattern of top, middle, bottom, middle, top. So I place a point at the top, middle, bottom, middle, top. And I just do a quick dotted line to connect those dots so that I know that this is not my actual graph. This is just a reference line to graph my secant. And then I also know that anytime the graph hits its zeros, hits the middle point, it creates an asymptote. So I have an asymptote at 180, and I also have an asymptote at 540. And secant shares the same top points and bottom points as cosine, and then it does whatever it can to get away from the middle, going towards the asymptotes. And I'm done. Oh, well, there's one more thing that they want you to do. They want you to draw the y-axis, which, wow, I did not draw this straight, did I? So easy to go crooked on a device, an electronic device. All right, so this is our y-axis. And our x-axis, the middle dotted line is at 1. The bottom dotted line is at negative 2. So the 0 line should be about a third of the way between those two dotted lines. So this is our y-axis, and this is our x-axis. Are there any questions? This is a crooked line. Can't even draw. There we go, that's better. Any questions? Hopefully, you guys felt a little bit more comfortable today. Um, just know that there are recordings on Schoology. If you are confused, I'll put all these recordings up. There's a recording going over how to do it on Math Excel. So if you're confused on Math Excel, go in and watch that recording. I think that's it.